Hello, my lovelies. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, back with Chronic Wellness. Thank you for joining me. Today we are talking about IVIG. What is it? Who uses it? What's it all about? So IVIG, as some of you probably know, is intravenous immunoglobulin. It is a pharmaceutical product that is made using a blood product. So it is actually a human product that is marketed and sold as a pharmaceutical product. So IVIG is spun out from human plasma. So I don't know about you, but I've had people in my life who were short on cash and have sold plasma at different times in their lives. It is not a particularly lucrative thing to do, but it is a way to get some quick cash if you are a healthy person and can sell your blood products. And so you would go to a plasma donation center, you would sit for a couple of hours while they take some blood out of you, they spin out your plasma, and they put your blood back into you minus the plasma they took. And then those pharmaceutical companies will take your plasma and use it for a whole host of different pharmacological products. And one of those products is IVIG. So we have a variety of different IG products in our body, and human IVIG that we take in as a pharmaceutical product is made from IgG primarily. There are trace amounts of IgM and IgA, and smarter people than me know what those distinctions are, but IgG is the primary one that is administered during IVIG. And it is a major player, a big component of our immune system. And so because of that, you can get a tip about what IVIG is used for. It's used for things that impact our immune system. And surprisingly, IVIG has been approved, meaning the medication has been approved for use for a whole range of different kinds of illnesses and diseases. Some of them are infectious diseases, some of them are rheumatological diseases, some of them are vascular diseases, some of them are neurological, and some are types of cancer, like leukemia is one of the diseases. And it serves in some interesting ways. So one way, as you can guess from it being primarily made up of IgG cells, is that it bolsters and props up your immune system. So for people who are immune deficient, it acts as a substitute or a replacement immune system and helps you defend and ward off and protect against outside infections and illnesses, and helps your body guard. And for those of us who have autoimmune diseases, which are overactive immune systems, it's thought to kind of overwhelm our bodies, kind of give us way too much of an immune system, and therefore maybe shut off that effect of fighting ourselves, which we do so aptly when we have autoimmune diseases. So, curious action, this IVIG. And it is administered typically in either an infusion clinic or at home with an infusion nurse coming to one's house. And so you get it dripped either into your vein or into your port, depending on whether or not you have the right hardware. And typically it comes in sort of like I guess it probably comes in multiple sizes, either a 250 ml or a 500 ml bottle. And the right dose for you is determined by your healthcare professional. And you get it put in your vein, either just on its own or diluted with a DW5, which is a glucose solution. So it's not one of these meds that can be mixed with saline, like so many of the other biologics. And like with other infusing meds, sometimes you might need premeds to take along with it. So things like NSAIDs, maybe Tylenol or ibuprofen, or other prophylactics like Solumedrol, which is a corticosteroid, or Benadryl to help lessen your infusion reaction. And the most common side effects are headaches, fever, chills, joint pain, and dosing, as well as your schedule for getting IVIG, again, determined with your doctor and your tolerance for the med. But typically it lasts between 2 and 6 hours for an administration, or can be administered over a series of days, sometimes broken up by a couple of days. So delivered on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example. And it can stay in your system for between 6 days and 6 weeks. So again, very variable dosing schedule. And I'll talk more in the next video about what my dosing schedule was, what my side effects were, and those kinds of things. What's amazing is that each dose of IVIG is made up of the plasma of between 1,000 and 100,000 people. And this varies, of course, based on the size of the dose, but also on which brand of IVIG you're using, because there are, subtle differences from brand to brand to brand. And I just think it's stunning to imagine that 100,000 people's plasma could be in one dose, and both how labor intensive that is, how much work that is to procure, how expensive it is to get the labor of all the people taking that plasma and all the people donating that plasma and all the work that's done to clean and scrub and prepare that plasma. And I'm not saying it then justifies the price tag, but then you can get a sense of why each administration of IVIG costs on average $10,000. So this is another one of those hair-raisingly, astronomically expensive infusing meds that, if it weren't for insurance, none of us would be able to procure or access for our bodies, because most of us don't have $10,000 once or twice a month laying around to just dump into our veins in that way. But it is stunning to think about that many people and that much money for each administration of IVIG. So those are a few facts, folks. Who of you have tried IVIG? Do you have a friend or loved one who've tried it? For what condition? How has it worked? What questions do you have? What condition have you been using it for? Did you have side effects? These are the things that we want to talk about. So leave a comment, ask a question. For sure, like, subscribe, share, pass this along to anyone who you think needs the information. And as ever, it is such a great honor that you share a little bit of this time here with me. And until we're together next week, thank you and be well.